Welcome. Hi, I'm Chuck Beard, and you're here in my home kitchen in Vernon Hills, Illinois. And we're going to make some nice comfort food. It's cold outside, it's snowing, you don't feel like going outside, you want something that's nice and cozy in your belly, but yet you don't want to have to prepare too much and be able to do something. So today we're going to show you how you could make homemade chili. Now chili comes from all regions. You got South America, North America, Texan, it even goes up into Canada, which is in North America as well. They got European chili. There's all kinds of chilies all over the place. So we're going to make a little Americana chili with a little Southwest influence. Like I said, there's all kinds of chilies out there on the market. So the goal of this lesson at the end is that you will be able to make your own homemade chili and feel 100% confident and accurate that you're going to do it just fine. The things that you're going to need to make chili, I got a pot over here, is a pan to cook the meat if you want to have some meat. There could be vegetarian one. You want a large pan here to put everything together. I got a crock pot, you could do it on the stove. You want a large spoon that you're going to use, a knife to cut up your vegetables, and possibly something to sharpen it. You make sure you got a nice sharp knife so that everything cuts very well. A can opener if you're going to open up any canned goods, and you're going to have some seasoning. So what we're going to first have is we're going to have some green peppers. We're going to have a tomato, fresh tomato, some Spanish onion. We have a banana pepper here, a little spicy banana pepper. We got a jalapeno. We got some green onions. Got a tomato here that I pre-cut, some fresh garlic, and an onion I prepped a little bit. We're also going to have some olive oil that we're going to use, some kosher salt, some granular garlic. Now you could use cilantro or parsley. I'm using a granular parsley. Cilantro, and I have some fresh cilantro. I like cilantro. It gives a little bit of different flavor. We're going to have some chili powder, give it some flavor. Give it some paprika because it gives a little more spicy, and black pepper. And typically that's what you have for the seasoning. Now I also like to use a canned tomato. I got a diced tomato here. This has oregano and garlic and basil in it. So I like some seasoning pre-mix added to my own. It's good. I got a small can of Campbell's pork and beans. I got a small can of chili beans, and these have a little bit of chili, additional chili pepper in it. And then I have another can of kidney beans that I'm pre-soaking because kidney beans have a tendency to produce a lot of, even all beans, they produce a lot of gas. So you want to pre-soak them. I got to pre-soak them about half an hour so that you wash them, clean them, get rid of the gases so that the gas doesn't go into your food and it goes into the sink, and better for that, and you don't feel sick and stuff. That's why a lot of people don't like to eat chili sometimes because they feel, hey, it's going to get me gassy. But the goal here is to try to make a chili that's non-gassy. You get your proteins with your beans, low fat and stuff like that. So those are the basic elements that you need for cooking chili, and the components. You can find anywhere in anybody's kitchen basically. You don't need anything special. If you like certain vegetables, you could use them instead. If you want to use different type of meats, you could use those as well. So the reason I like cooking chili is because it's comfort food. It's great on a cold day. It's easy to make when you're serving a lot of people and you're doing a football game or whatever. You could pre-make it in the morning, let it cook, and it always is better when it cooks longer. So have any of you had chili before? Have you made chili? What kind of chili? Is it out of a can? Homemade? Did your mom make it? Your dad make it? You know, there's all types of stuff. There's vegetarian chili. That's kind of funny. Vegetarian chili. You got ones with turkey, with beef. We're gonna make some here with some hamburger that we have over here. You could have fish, you could have pork, you could have any kind of meat you want, or you could have no meat in it. So that's kind of the goal here today. So, like I said, the objective is so that you feel confident 100% that you're going to be able to make homemade chili yourself. All right, so let's recap a little bit. What do we need? We need a large pot. We may need a small pot that we could cook our meat up a little bit in advance. An array of vegetables to give it some flavor, some seasoning that we went through earlier, and a little bit of olive oil, maybe some beans, and that's kind of what we need. So the first thing we want to do is we want to prep our pan. So I got the fire up, I've got this preheated a little bit, so we're going to preheat the pan a little bit. Now we're going to put a little bit of olive oil. There's different types of olive oils that you could use. You got an extra virgin oil here, and this is organic, but this is typically not for cooking. This is for salad dressings and marinating meats and vegetables or whatever you want to do. This is the traditional olive oil that you want to cook with. It'll say for cooking or whatever, because if you use the extra virgin and you're using it for cooking, it sometimes makes your food taste better. It's better for raw application. So what I like to do before, so we got that in there. What I like to do is put an onion in there. So I peeled this one in advance. We had a little bit of video display earlier, the thing went down. So the trick that I have is I cut the onion in half, and I'll show you as we go further. And then I kind of prep it, and I did half the onion, like that, really pretty fast. And we got it again. So the onion is pre-cut, and I like to saute this with the meat in advance because it gives it some flavor. So that's half an onion right there. So our pan should be kind of nice and hot. So we're going to put this in there. Oh yeah, it's hot. That's what you want to hear. You want to hear that sizzle, because you don't want the oil to be, you don't want to put the meat or the vegetables in the oil that's cold, because then it just soaks into the food and it becomes very unhealthy. This way it's not unhealthy at all. So you want that to saute a little bit. So while that's sauteing, that preps a little bit, we're going to turn up our crock pot here to put it on, to kind of prep it so it's going to be ready, so that it'll be ready for later. So now that we've got that prepped and we're ready, the next thing you want to do is probably put your meat in there, because the meat takes the longest to cook if you're cooking. If you cook pork, you got to make sure you cook it all the way through, but it's also going to cook secondary in here, because you always want your chilies to cook long. The longer they cook, the slower they cook, they become better. The juices all go together and stuff. So what we got about 1.5 to 2 pounds of beef that we have here. We're going to put this here, excuse me. So what I have is some hamburger that I've laid out, and we're going to put it in here. And I kind of like the hamburger where it gives you chunks, so I don't like it all ground up. So, I got the onions in here, sauteing a little bit, and it gives it some flavor. So I'm just going to put the meat in there, then we'll just break it up a little bit. And let that cook down. Now the meat, as that's cooking, have any of you ever cooked beef like this before? I'm going to put this in here. One thing you got to worry about is contamination. You want to make sure that you try to keep the contamination to the minimum. Now while that's there, I like to put some kosher salt. Give it a little bit of flavor. I like a little bit of ground garlic. So we're going to put a little bit of this on here. And when I cook, I like to cook, I'm not with the measuring teaspoon or measuring. If I'm baking, obviously you got to be more precise. I like to see how it fills based on level and quantity. I got the cilantro. This is where I'm going to put some of the ground stuff in, because it's going to give some flavor to the meat. Okay, and then I'm going to put some pepper in. You can hear that sizzle. All right, and we'll put a little bit of chili powder in, give it a little bit of spice, and a little paprika. So this will all cook down. The paprika pepper, paprika is a pepper, and it's a little bit hotter than black pepper. Black pepper gives it some flavor, but then this gives it a little bit of kick. So, while I'm over here, what we're going to do is mix up the seasoning a little bit. Seasoning. And then why this is doing this, let this cook. Now once this is cooked down, we're going to let that cook. It's on a medium to high heat. While that's cooking, it's a good time to prep your vegetables, because that has to cook and you want it to cook down. You don't really want to have any raw meat in your food or anything like that. So what we want to do is make sure we have everything, and we're going to dice everything up here. I like to cook or dice up the wet stuff last, so it doesn't mess up my cutting board. It's kind of nice to use a wood cutting board. There's glass cutting boards and plastic and everything, but wood always, to me, feels better when you're cutting up vegetables and onions and stuff like this. So I pre-wash these. Make sure you pre-wash them. I cut the edges off earlier so they're not here. So that's the main thing. You got to pre-clean all your vegetables in advance. So I like these. I don't, you don't have to cut them that small. It gives it a little bit of flavor, this different type of flavor. So we have that. We also have some fresh garlic cloves here we're going to add. So I'm going to just pick this up and put it there for now, and then we're going to do this here. So I hope you're all taking notes and you got your knives out here and you're following through with me with this video. The first thing we did was we cut up the onion and we put it in the pan, and then we cut up some smaller onions. Now we're going to take a green pepper, and in these peppers, some people like them with the seeds in them. There's seeds inside these. I don't know if you know that. I don't know your level of cooking, but the bell peppers have some kind of, and all peppers have it. So we'll take out the inner cores of these, and sometimes people like to cook with them. I don't like to cook with too much seeds. A little bit of seeds isn't too bad, but we're going to prep this. It looks like there's a bad piece on the end. So we'll cut anything bad off that's on your pepper. So I like to cut them in half. It's a little easier to cut, And cut some slices. And then depending on how you like the size of your peppers, I got them in half. I like them big because they're going to shrink down, and I don't like to have them too. They're going to go nice in the. So we got some peppers there, and we'll cook this up here fast. And let me cook up these. We probably could have did this in advance, but we didn't. I want to show all the steps to you so you understand what's involved in cooking. You don't have to be a chef. All you have to do is like to cook. You like things, and say, oh, I like the way that tastes good together. So you can start thinking, you can start experimenting. You say, listen, I don't like bell peppers. but I like banana peppers, or I like jalapenos, or I like this, or I like that. Well, I'm going to take the center of this out because we don't want any of that in there. So you can add it. And if you say, oh, I like something different, I want to add this. There's no wrong thing in making something for chili. It's the way you like it, and the things that you like in it are key. You know, that's important. So at the end of the day, you want to feel like, ooh, I got something good. So we're going to recut another onion. The way I like to cut my onions, cut them in half, slice them fast, and boom, peel them. Pretty quick. Big Spanish onion. So, like I said, we're going to throw this, we're going to recycle kit it in the garbage disposal so we don't have anything. And like I said, we cut the onion in half. So if you want to do your slices, boom, that fast. Pretty quick. Pretty quick. Onion shouldn't take long to cook. Cut up. You could dice this up at 100 times smaller if you want. If you've got a good sharp knife, and that's why I like a good wood board, because what it does is it allows, I'm going to grab me another little plate, if you don't mind, so I could put some of these devices on. Because everything here that we're cutting is going to end up in our chili. It's going to end up in our chili. So, hey. And we like to cut them and dice them and trice them. You know, they try to sell those dicing machines on the TV, but you know, I'll tell you what, there's nothing better than old-fashioned cooking, old-fashioned dicing, tricing, all that kind of fancy stuff that they do. You know, you don't need any fancy equipment. It's a simple thing. I like to use the whole green pepper. I don't want to waste anything because there's no use wasting it. And why this is here, I think what we're going to do is the meat. Let's double check the meat. Get that in there. See what we got going here for the meat. I want to dry my hands. And I can hear it cooking. You hear that meat cooking? Wow. Whew. But I like the big chunks because I don't like it. You know, you could have it fine, but it's not. And there's a lot of saturated fat that's in meat. So what we're going to do, we're not going to put this in the chili. No way at all. Because it's unhealthy. You don't want to have those triglycerides. You want to have the good fat, not the bad fat. That's why we use some olive oil. Because it's better. We don't want bad triglycerides. So we got that. Ooh. Now this pepper, I thought I had another pepper here. I thought I had a jalapeno, but it must have walked of me. I don't know where it went. This is a hot pepper. So what we're going to do is be a little more cautious when we cut it, because this one, we want to get the seeds out, some of them out, and we're going to clean it here a little bit. The stove. But I don't know what we did with the jalapenos. Those are the seeds. Vanished on me. So, because sometimes if it's too hot, it doesn't get edible. Alright, so while this is done, the meat's almost done by now. See, so while you're prepping all your vegetables here, I'm going to get rid of some of these seeds on my board. You can also, the nice thing with a small board like this, you could rinse it out. So I rinsed it off. I got some of these vegetables, making a little bit of a mess here. But that's the fun part of cooking. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have like the most pristine environment. As long as everything is clean when you're done cooking and your hands are clean and you're not contaminating everything, you're doing great. You're fantastic. You're a great cook. So, there's the jalapeno. It was hidden on the bottom. It didn't want to get caught up in the mess because maybe it was afraid. So we cut the tip off. And now this is where the really, really hot stuff is. So we might want to clean a little bit if it's too hot. I like my chili mild hot. I could always add more hot stuff later because it all depends, you know, how you like it. So, but we got some jalapenos in here. We got some, you could get some really hot peppers that you're adding. And so I hope everybody's taking notes in this, because once I get done with this, we're going to have a quiz. Just kidding. No, we're going to go through it and go through the stuff again so you understand, and I'm not going too fast here. Okay, so that goes in the kitchen. Okay, so now you got to have your, boom. You got, it's a good way, fast way to do garlic, because they all come with a little shell on them. Fastest way. Boom, boom, boom. Take your knife, break it apart, and boom, you got your garlic in the middle. Okay? I like to get a few cloves in there because, you know, nothing like good garlic. So we'll get some garlic going on here, and you don't need no garlic press. If you want to, you could press it. But I'm going to dice these up. I'm going to dice these up and have them. So I just cut them up. We'll chop that sucker up good, nice and tiny. And that's good. That's my garlic. That's good. Voila. It's all going in the pot. Looks good, huh? It better look good. And then we got some fresh, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, they got a little thing, you can cut them right off, cut that bad stuff off, because you want a ripe tomato when you're cooking chili. You don't want anything not too ripe. Let me go check the meat again. Make sure clean hands are always valid. Ooh, it's getting close. So, all that time we were prepping our vegetables, the meat is about done. It really didn't take a lot of work to do any of this here. And it's cooking with a little bit of seasoning that we've already mixed in. And it's got some of the onions. Oh, this looks perfect. So that looks good. So what we're going to do is we got our crock pot. And I have, over here in the sink, I've been straining the beans. Because, like I said before, now they don't have any suds. Sometimes they get sudsy. And what we're going to do is we could put those beans in our pan. We're going to turn this down. It's a little too hot. And let's mix it up. Because this is getting warm in here. Yeah. That looks good. So we'll get some beans going in there. So while that's doing that, we could strain our meat. Our meat is done. We'll shut it off. But the best thing to do is you want to strain your meat when it's hot. You don't want to let it sit in this grease, because if it sits in the grease, it's going to soak it up. All that hard work you did, so boom. Let's get it out of here. We got it nice and going. Now, we're going to use this other thing to carry it to the, so we're going to put it right in the pot. So now I want to put that back in the skillet here. So this is our meat. Ooh, I had this pre-warmed. It's getting nice and warm. That's what you want. So, what we can add now is, because it's a little bit hot in there, we're going to put our diced tomatoes. Now, you always want to wash these in advance, which I already pre-did before, so we don't have a problem. And as you can see, we're cutting. This is the can opener you need, and you got to have a little lid. You're going to hear a little sizzle. Oh. So now I could probably, That'll add a little fluid in there. I don't like adding water. Let the tomato be my liquid. And we're gonna have a delicious chili when we're done here. I gotta put my glasses on. It's hard for me to see because I'm gonna crank this up a little bit on high so that we're good to go. Now, what we can do is all those vegetables that we cooked and the garlic and everything, put it all right in that pot. Go ahead, dump it all in there. You're not gonna harm anything. And the green peppers that we cut over here, put them all in there. Yeah, that's good too. That looks good. We got all those goodies in there, right? I'm gonna put the plate all the way. And then we're gonna move the can over here so we're out of the way. And I'm going to add the pork and beans that we have. Okay, so let's do this. I'm gonna do this. I don't like the white stuff too much, and then we're gonna add the red beans from the others that have the chili in it. The pork and beans and stuff, these are pre-cooked beans, so they shouldn't have a lot of gas in them, so you should be okay with those. Rinse my hands. All right, so that's that. We'll mix it up all at the end. So now, those tomatoes we had, it's fresh tomatoes, let's cut those suckers up. I'm gonna dice them up, and nice and diced. This one has still a little core in the middle, so you wanna take that out. Don't wanna eat anything. Anything you think you don't wanna eat, that's okay. Don't eat it. So let's take the stuff that we want. You know? I'm gonna put some of those in there because all these juices, all these tomatoes, all these flavors are gonna cook together. They're gonna cook down and they're gonna be delicious. That's why you put whatever you want, whatever flavors you like, together. I got another tomato over here. And we cut that. That's why you gotta have a nice sharp knife. Cutting everything up is very, 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 very quick. I'm gonna wipe my cutting board down here a little bit. Now, we're gonna get a little bit of fresh cilantro here that I have. You know, we buy it and you could grow it too, and the problem is it goes bad so fast, so you have to kind of keep it. So we're keeping it in some water in our refrigerator, cool water, and then that keeps the cilantro or parsley or any fresh herb that you have. It'll make them last a lot longer. I like to put some fresh herbs in it. Gives it a little extra flavor. I could always add some at the end too. But this, I want this to get into the food as we're cooking. The reason, there's no reason to cut this, but when you cut the fresh vegetables, what you're doing is you're opening it up for the juices to escape, because that's really what you want to have. You want to get the inside, the juices inside of it to really go out of it. So I can move my cutting board right now. Whew, got a little bit of a mess here. Got a little bit going on here. So give me a second here. You always want to try to have a clean prep area, clean area. Cooking chili, it's a little messy, but it's not that bad. So we're gonna do that, boom. Easy, 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 easy. All right, so we did that. Now, what we're gonna do now, I think we got enough oil. We're not gonna add any more oil. We did a little bit when we cooked. I don't wanna have a real oily chili. my kids do not like oil. I got 2 young daughters, and I always got to try to make it healthy for them. One doesn't like hamburgers, so I'll have to make it vegetarian or do something like that. So let's get back. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add our seasoning. So, all right. So my favorite seasoning is garlic. I already got fresh cloves. We're going to put some garlic. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to cover the whole top up. Oh yeah, that's good garlic. You don't need a lot of salt if you got the garlic. The pepper, you know, you could do fresh ground, of course, that's a good pepper right there. This is the key, the chili. So let's get some chili in here. Maybe like probably a teaspoon of chili. And some paprika. That gives it a little bit of kick. You could buy it out of the, you know, they got pre-made chili packets. The problem is, if you look at the side of those, they got so much sodium in them, so much bad preservatives, and it's not very healthy. Today people are getting very sick from all that stuff. So really, we haven't used anything here. We use dry herbs, some salt, granular, garlic, and all fresh vegetables and fresh herbs. Nothing, and just the meat. So we got no processed food at all that we've used. Now, your big spoon comes in handy, and you're gonna take this big crock pot here that you got now, and now you're gonna mix it up. Gonna have the fun of mixing the whole thing up. Now you say, well, how much seasonings do I put in there? That's a good question. It's always, you could always put, I'd always recommend putting less, and you could always add more later as you're cooking it. You know, because if you put way too much at the beginning, then it becomes kind of difficult to take out the seasoning. So it's always better to have a little less in there, and then you could add it as it cooks down, as this all cooks down. This will take about 35 to 40 minutes to cook, and it'll get bubbling and stuff of that nature. You know, sometimes it's nice to cook it. Usually I'll have a big crock pot on the stove, and I'll cook it in that. I'll strain it, and then I'll use it the same thing, because it's got all the flavors from the meat that I cooked it in. But this way, and this is also good for later. So look at this, is a lot of food here that we cooked. And what I'm going to do is pick this up and show you all the stuff here. Man, there's a lot of stuff in there. Whew. I could feed a lot of people with that. So that there is chili. Now we also have, you could make some condiments afterwards, but that's basically the chili that we're gonna make for today. And you have a good idea how to make American chili. So what we could do here is we could recap a little bit. I think I had another page here. Yes, we can. My papers got wet. So after we mix everything together, you know, like I said, 30 to 40 minutes, it'll be ready for eating. But then, you know, it's even better tomorrow. The longer it cooks, the slower it is, the better it is. So now that you've seen it done, how do you feel? Do you think you can make chili? Do you feel pretty confident that you can make chili? I hope you enjoyed this video. So let's recap. First, you got to cook your meat. And I like to saute some onions with it. If you like meat, you could cook pork. We use some hamburger today. You could use chicken. You could use fish. You could use whatever you have, or you could use nothing. You want to have your vegetables. You got to pre-wash all your vegetables. Make sure that everything is clean, which I did in advance. Clean them, take off all the bacteria, so you don't want to have anything in your food. And you can use anything you like. You want to soak your kidney beans, because you don't really want to eat chili and then have a lot of gas from the chili, from the beans, so you want to get rid of the gas before it goes into your chili. And then after you cook the meat, there's going to be fat in the meat, so you want to get rid of that fat. You want to get rid of all that triglycerides so that you don't get it in your heart and you live longer and healthier. And we got a very healthy meal here with no preservatives added. And you mix it all together and you let it cook for 30 minutes. So that's pretty much chili. Now that you've had a chance to watch a video and you practice and you cooked alongside of me, we know that you could make chili. Is there something that you would like to add? I would hope that watching this video, you may reply if you want, hey, I like this, or I want to add this, or could I add this? I have a palermo pepper downstairs. I was going to put it in that, but I'm going to use it for something else. But I got some different peppers in it. So think about that. Think about what you could do and how you could make your homemade chili and challenge yourself. So the next time when you're making chili, I know you could be confident because you could watch my video and you could practice and you could practice again. You could watch this video all day and night and learn how to make chili yourself. So you will be an expert. You repeat the process over and over and over, and before you know it, it'll become automatic. I really enjoyed you sharing the time with me today. It was great. And that's how you make chili. You could also add at the end, I got some cheese, so we could put some cheese in it. We could even put a little bit of cheese in the chili as it's cooking to give it a little bit of flavor. And this is a little bit of Mexican cheese, a little bit of mixture here. And it'll be good at the end. And then when your chili's done afterwards, you could add some more onions on the toppings. You could make cheese, sour cream, you could put anything, maybe some more peppers. You want a little more spicy, you could do whatever you want. Marinara, anything like that. That's a unique thing about chili, some crackers, you know, whatever you want to have, and you got all the good things of a good home cooked meal, but you got a very delicious food. And it's low sodium, it's no processed food, and it's healthy for you. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed my video. I'm Chuck Beard. This is my home kitchen. Thank you. Have a nice evening. Bye.